How do you start a podcast on YouTube? Podcast, YouTube, audio, video? Isn't that a little bit of a contradiction in terms? Well, you might think that, but YouTube is a very viable option when it comes to podcast hosting, especially because it's free. Something to consider. And we're going to go over some of the intricacies and some of the subtleties in just a moment. By the end of this video, you're going to know how to build a solid foundation to make your podcast on YouTube very successful and help sustain for the long term. And then also we're going to take a quick glance at the gear you're going to need. Trust me, we could be on that stuff all day, but we'll at least give you an idea of what to look for and what to avoid. So let's get started. I'm Nick Natarella with AdWise Creative. I've been probably producing audio post-production and video for almost 30 years now. And this is how we want to get started in your YouTube channel or your podcast for your business, to make it a successful lead magnet to draw clients and customers into your company. So the first thing, if you want to get started with a podcast on YouTube, the first thing you're going to have to do is set a solid foundation. And I'm going to say the one word that nobody wants to hear. You ready? Paperwork. Yeah. If you can map out the success of your podcast on paper first and know exactly what you're going to be covering, how you're going to be covering, who you're talking to, all the formatics involved, anything like that, if you can get that written out and spend some time really noodling over this stuff and really figuring out the nuances and the focus and the direction, the more you lay a solid foundation on paper is going to pay beyond dividends in the long run for your YouTube podcast. Or is this a podcast YouTube video? That'll be for you to decide. Step one is to know who you are talking to. You need to focus on your audience. This is for their purposes. This is for their information. This is not to put a spotlight on you. If I could do this and just disseminate the information, believe me, I would. I have nothing to do with this. The important part is, what are you looking for? You came up with the question. I'm just giving you one man's opinion and answer. The bottom line is, what are your clients looking for? What are your customers looking for? What information are they trying to figure out to hopefully tip them in one direction or another, to get them moving in one particular direction or another? What is it that they need to know before they can get started? That's where you come in. And the way to do that is through proper SEO research. Now, a friend of mine, Nate Woodbury, has come up with a technique called leaf strategy. Think of your main core of information. Let's say you're a fitness instructor. Fitness is your tree trunk of information, because you also have several branches of information like workouts, nutrition, supplements, individual specific exercises, techniques for those individual specific exercises. All that kind of stuff will make different branches. Then at the very end of that branch is a leaf question. Questions like, what are the best supplements for bulking up? What are the best supplements for when I'm pregnant? What is the best workout just getting started? That kind of thing. Those are specific questions that people are going to YouTube and asking. They have a goal in mind, they're looking for information, and want to know some answers before they get started with whatever it is, whether it's investing, working out, exercising, life coach, personal coach, whatever it may be. So how do you find these questions that people are asking? Go to something like SEMrush or Ubersuggest, or even start with Google and start typing in, say, some keywords that you want to be known for, some keywords that people might be searching. Again, let's get back to the fitness example and say exercising vitamins, exercise supplements, workout supplements. Those are all really good words to start with. Now, if you're using a program like Ubersuggest or SEMrush or something like that, click off to the side. You're going to see there's a whole row of different options. And one of those options is questions. What are the specific questions that people are actually typing in the search bar? That becomes the title of your YouTube video. That becomes the title of that specific podcast episode. Verbatim, because people are typing that in. And when that pops up, when the next time somebody types it in, and the reason why it's showing up is because people are typing it in over and over and over again, when people type it in, you're going to be one of the answers now. They know they want the information, they just don't know about you yet. So when you make a video or make a podcast episode with that specific question as the title, now things start to connect. Now imagine, say, 30, 50, 100 people make that exact same search every month. And you've got an episode out there with that title. So there's 30, 50, 100 people that find you because of that. Now there are other titles out there. There are other topics out there that people are searching. In fact, there are probably dozens, if not hundreds of them that fit your wheelhouse. You need to make videos for every single one of those. And then you have a trickle of 20 here, and a trickle of 100 here, and a trickle of 50 there, and a trickle of 75 coming in from that one. And before you know it, you've got all these tributaries that are coming right to your channel. And you are the one popping up over and over and over again, connecting with the viewers, connecting with these people who have these questions in your particular niche, or niche, depending on how you say it. But it's always coming back to you. Think of it as somebody who's going on vacation. This is the story, the analogy I like to use. Somebody's going on vacation, they're going on a cruise, they know they want to stop at some tropical islands, they're really interested in maybe some hiking, pristine beaches, maybe even some gorgeous flowers. What island have I just described? Probably all of them. So where are they heading? Well, as they do these searches, it's going to slowly narrow it down. As their search ship is going through the internet ocean, all of a sudden a theme starts to arise. And it turns out they're talking about, I don't know, Trinidad and Tobago. There you are on the shore, waving at them before they even got there, and you've got a circle of flowers in your hand ready to put over their head. You're already there. You have become the expert just because you were in the right place at the right time. Yeah, that was chance, right? No, that was your SEO research that put you on that beach before they even got there. And let me just extend an invitation to you. If you're putting together your business YouTube channel or podcast, please subscribe to my channel. That's what we do here. We give you this type of information to help you go over stuff. In fact, in just a second, we're going to go over gear. I've done plenty of deep dives on the gear, so if you've got questions about that, be sure to come back to this channel, and we're going to go over all of that stuff. Now, like I said, the gear. Yeah, you're going to need a camera, and you can have anything from the one in your pocket all the way up to a $6,000 monster, these brand new ones that have come out. Oh my gosh, I could do a deep dive in those real quick, but I'm not going to go there. There's some really nice cameras that just hit the market. They're really expensive, and they're probably way more than you need, which means the really expensive ones from last year are now getting really cheap and being sold as used. Grab one of those guys if you want. But the bottom line is, you can get started with your phone. When it comes to editing, you need some editing software. That you can get started with probably an app that's already on your phone, or maybe even a program that's already on your computer. Whether it's Mac or Apple, they already come prepackaged with video editing software. There's also some really fancy video editing software out there that has some very powerful audio capabilities as well, and some of them start off as free. Some of them you can upgrade with a small fee. The bottom line is you can get started with Hollywood quality editing software for free. Are you seeing a pattern here? For lighting, you can start off anywhere between sitting in front of a window or underneath of a tree, get some soft light, get some softened light, not soft light, some softened light. You don't want really harsh, sharp shadows, and sitting underneath a tree gives you the right look. Or if you want a translucent shower curtain and put it over a window, that'll help diffuse the light just enough so you don't have these really sharp shadows. Something else you could do for lighting, there's a really simple setup with one light from the living room. Crank it up to high. If you got a three-way light, crank it up to high, put it off to the side, and the light's going to be coming from this side, and then you'll end up with a little triangle of light right under your eye. That little triangle is a little effect that goes all the way back to Rembrandt. In fact, it's called a Rembrandt lighting technique, all the way back to the 1600s, and we're still using it today, creating our videos. Again, start for free. There's so many things that you can do to get started for free. You don't have to dive in. The most important thing you can do is what I said at the very beginning, and that's getting your paperwork squared away. Your audience and your questions. Getting that stuff dialed in is going to take your channel for the long term. Now, if you're really, really serious about this, I have a special gift for you. A friend of mine wrote this book, Nate Woodbury. It's called A Hero's Guide to Influence on YouTube. This will cover everything from beginning to end that you need to know about getting your YouTube channel up and running. All the way to thumbnails, lighting, editing techniques, you name it. Even the SEO strategy that I was talking about, that's his strategy. That's in this book, covered in detail. I strongly suggest you get yourself a free copy of it. It's just coming at you at cost. Nobody's making any money off of this, well, except for the printer, but he's not making any money off it. He gave me several copies that I could give away, so get yours, sign up. There's a link in the description down below. You pay the shipping and the cost, and everything is coming to you immediately. This is going to be your new YouTube Bible, I guarantee it. I'm Nick Natarella with AdWise Creative. Thank you for watching.